MiRo is a low-cost, highly featured, fully programmable autonomous platform particularly suited to developing companion robots. MiRo's team combines internationally leading design and research talent with state-of-the-art understanding of biomimetics and social robots.
In the future, robots will play an increasingly important role in our lives, interacting with us in our personal, public and private spaces and behaving in surprisingly natural ways.
MiRo is a hybrid of lots of different animals. We've done this because we want MiRo to have its own distinct personality. We are trying to replicate nature rather than go the normal artificial intelligence route, which is much more mechanical and produces a much more stilted type of action and behaviour.
A companion robot can be like a responsive pet, but they can also help monitor behaviour and wellness and give reminders about your daily schedule. Researchers and developers working in human-robot interaction will find MiRo to be a useful, reliable and flexible platform that people from all walks of life will readily interact with.
I'm excited about the idea that robots can be used as a therapeutic tool in settings such as counselling, recuperation after an illness, or even helping with depression. I think MiRo is great for this because people are instinctively drawn to it and love interacting with it almost as if it was a living thing. Research on therapeutic robots need an open platform where developers can write their own program in order to directly control how the robot senses and responds to people.
MiRo's control system is distributed across a stack of 3 ARM processors, each responsible for a different facet of control, from reflexes through spatial processing to higher level representations and decision making.
At present, MiRo is like a brand new laptop with just the operating system and no programs put in it. And he's waiting for programs to be written for him that will govern his behaviour and give him usefulness and functionality.
MiRo is the first in the evolution of sophisticated social robotic platforms with distinct personalities. We will collaborate with the international developer community to explore and create new behaviors and functionalities. The MiRo project is an invitation to contribute to the development of the companion robots of the future.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Michael.
I'm coming to visit you today.
Yeah, come on over.
Okay.
Hey, Michael, how's it going?
Good, bud. I'm going to get a bit closer.
Yeah, come on. There you go.
Hi, bud.
Hey. So,
Oh,
how's it going to be a robot?
Good. Good. I like it.
Good?
I like your hat.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, have a look.
I like. Yeah. Hi, Claire. So give me something to do.
Here. Plug this into yourself.
Oh, okay. Oops.
No, missed it by a bit.
You teasing me. Okay. I don't have anywhere to plug it in.
Into your head.
Plug in my head.
Yeah.
I don't think I can reach, bud. No. I'm just going to throw it at you instead, okay?
Yeah, you can try.
Your head. Okay, Doc, it's coming at you. Ready?
Hey, not too bad, not too bad.
Better than normal. That's good. Can I do anything else for you while I'm here?
You want to do what?
Can I do anything else for you?
Yeah, I think you can comb my hair if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good. Hold on. Thank you. It's good. I got it?
No, we get it.
Oh,
Try again.
sorry. Try again. Good.
There you go.
Nice. Bring your head over here. I don't want to walk off the table.
Let's see how this goes.
Oh, that's nice.
That's pretty good. Okay, a bit slower with help.
Okay. You know what? If you got a pair of scissors, put a pair of scissors in this hand, I can cut your hair for you.
I'll pass.
Oh man. You don't trust me. It's just a cute little robot. There we go. I think you look great.
Thank you.
I'm going to throw this at your head now, too.
Hey, that's not a bad throw. Not a bad throw.
I'm getting there.
Getting
Pepper,
there.
we can play catch, but I think Pepper.
Yeah, that would be a different robot.
Yeah, true. Okay, well, I think that's it. It's been nice. It's been a slice. I'm gonna go now.
See you, Michael.
Okay, bud. Bye. Bye, Claire.
Bye.
Have fun. Over there, all the way across the Pennine.
And we're live. Okay.
I love that. And we're live. Hi, ladies and gentlemen out there in webcam land. We're back with the MiRo Maze. And I can hear myself because I'm an idiot. I turned on Twitch so I can watch myself because I'm a narcissist. You really wouldn't do this if you weren't, would you? Stop giggling, Daniel. Say something.
So, hello everyone. Welcome back to the 4th day of the MiRo Maze trials. And I've got quite a lineup today. Shorter program than usual, but quite an impressive lineup. Depending if we have any no-shows or not. All looking really good. MiRo's ready to go, fully charged, and amped up.
Daniel, do you have some news for us? Not any new times that have come in since last time?
Yes, I believe there has been some changes in times, especially with Michael's son there the other day.
Somebody beat him.
Taking us to a 30-second, 32-second, I believe it was.
Which then you subsequently broke the 30-second barrier.
But that doesn't count. I'm on the local network. But yes, we had a sub 30-second run there.
And have you had anybody else that we know try it?
Yes, but those runs shall remain confidential.
I want to hear. Is it just Tony that can't hear?
I can hear.
Yeah, you can hear, but is it just Tony we don't want to hear this one?
So I can mute.
Tony, cover your ears.
It's muted.
Oh, okay.
I can hear what Daniel says anyway from across the room.
Yeah.
So, any news for us, Michael?
Not really. Today we have some exciting interviews coming up, don't we, Tony?
We do. So we are talking to Dr. Emma Norling from the Department of Computer Science about the student experience of studying computing in an age of robots and COVID. So yeah, looking forward to that. And we're having a roundtable discussion about robots in education with Richard Waterston, who is the author of the new UK RAS Network white paper on that topic, and also with Melissa Butt, who is the director of the World Education Robotics Programme for the UK and of discoverystem.org, which provides teacher training and
we've lost your audio, Tony.
You lost my audio?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I have to plug in my microphone. I don't know why I've lost my audio.
Keep telling us all these things you need to do because we can't hear you. I can hear him though.
Just me, because I don't hear Michael either.
Might just have been you. So yeah, so that's coming up. I don't know what time we're doing that. Have we got a schedule? Is there a scheduled time for that?
Yep. For to speak to Emma.
For the Robotics and Education Roundtable. I think Emma's scheduled at 2:00.
Yep. And then Richard and Melissa, I think, are scheduled for 1:30. Or we're with Richard at 1:30, and then the interview starts at 22, I think.
Yeah, Richard is going to have a go on the robot, I think.
Ooh, very exciting.
In other news, I don't know if you're following the international robotics news, are you?
I usually do, but I feel like I missed something, Tony, the way you're setting this up.
Well, did you know that Boston Dynamics has been sold to Hyundai?
Yes, I did hear that. That's old news.
It's Hyundai.
Or is that recent?
I just read about it today. I think they're paying something like $900 million, which values the company at just over $1 billion. But that's like the third owner, is it? In about 5 years, under 5 years.
Which it raises some very interesting questions, doesn't it?
Well, it does. I mean, because clearly SoftBank couldn't make a commercial success of it, and Google dumped them relatively quickly after buying them.
This is true.
Out of the gate.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe I've always thought that the point of Boston Dynamics wasn't to be a commercial success. I always thought it was to be cutting edge and to take money from elsewhere. But it would be more of a flagship for a big company that's already got lots of money they could sink into. Kind of like a football club for a Russian oligarch. You know?
Yeah, that may be why Hyundai has bought it, just for the PR.
Yeah.
Although you get negative PR with Boston Dynamics as well as positive, because
true.
Their robots are a bit creepy.
Where did Boston Dynamics get most of their contracts from? I assumed it was American defense arm money.
They originally got lots of defense money, and their original robot was built supposedly to be a pack horse. Big Dog was going to be a pack horse for the American military.
Right.
But I think it was too smelly and noisy, so people didn't like it.
Pack horses themselves. Right?
And well, no, the pack horses are better. They are less noisy, probably smelly, but maybe in a more acceptable way. But probably more importantly, intelligent and can walk on rough terrain, as opposed to just making good videos.
You would have thought enough, yeah. Whoever has Boston Dynamics has a whole access to infinite amounts of really good YouTube clicks, and too, don't they? Because I mean, who dominates it? People think of robots, think Boston Dynamics.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they have the best YouTube clicks. But they got quite a lot of negative PR earlier this year, didn't they? When they sold one to the was it the New York police?
Yeah.
And they were using it in crowd control.
Well, except they had to have like 2 police officers behind it to do the job of this one thing that they didn't actually need then, did they?
Yeah, and I think people resented being controlled by a robot dog. So it wasn't great PR for...
Maybe soon when Hyundai gets bored of them, Cyberselves can buy Boston Dynamics, and then...
yeah, we can remote control Atlas and Spot.
Yeah.
So my favorite videos are the Spot dancing ones. Those are pretty good.
Yeah, I like the ones with the humanoid one.
I quite like Atlas sort of doing acrobatics. That's definitely there's some very cool stuff.
They do some good impressive stuff. It's certainly, it's kind of weird. We're talking about business, but the business of robotics is so tied up with how this moves forward. I think a lot of the times with robotics, you've got hardware is hard, right? I mean, you actually are involved intensely with a hardware manufacturer, and it seems like a very hard thing to do robotics hardware.
Well,
So,
I mean, I think sort of some hardware works perfectly well, like all the industrial robots. I mean, it's hard to do the sort of unstructured real world, which is what Boston Dynamics try to do. But I think that it's a case of technology push with Boston Dynamics. They're not really building a product for a market that they've analyzed. They're just building cool robots that they want to build, and then they're trying to figure out what they're useful for.
yeah,
Which is not generally the way you go about planning a business. Although they're not the first to have done that, but it's...
that's what I was thinking, is that the success or otherwise of Boston Dynamics says less about... I mean, I never thought they were interested in profitability. I always thought they were building...
Well,
freaks me out.
I wonder what their valuation was last time they had takeover, because if they're worth $1 billion now, has it gone up or down? Maybe we could find that out.
$1 billion's a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but...
$1 billion is a lot of money for a robotics company. I don't know how many other robotics companies are worth over $1 billion.
But when you think about the world of robotics, there's a lot of hardware manufacturers out there. And maybe I don't know enough about this. Maybe I shouldn't be...
Well, I mean, if you look at iRobot, I mean, they're probably another $1 billion robot company. And, they... the reason they were successful is obviously because they're focused on the vacuum cleaner market. But prior to that, they were selling robots to the US military. So a lot of these American companies have got through the sort of difficult startup stage by being supported by military funding. But so I'm not knocking it, but that seems to be how it's gone. So.
And that's true of other technologies as well, I suspect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's yeah, I'm not sure about Atlas's moves in this video.
I find them quite impressive, unlike the moves of any other robot.
It's kind of dad dancing, though, isn't it?
Yes, but that's the whole thing, isn't it?
Speak for yourself. This dad's got some moves. Like, I can bust some moves better than that. I like that one. That's a good move. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I think Spot's arm with the head like that reminds me of something from Little Shop of Horrors or
Alien, the first Alien movie. It totally reminds me of that, especially with that sort of little mouth on the end.
I was going to say they probably need somebody like us to come in and help them make them understand why nobody loves their robots.
Yeah, well, I think they deliberately make them creepy. Why else would you make Spot like that? I mean, it's definitely got a snake-like head. And everyone knows that people are afraid of snakes. Oh, this is cool. I don't think I've seen this video before. What's that on its head?
I don't know. That's impressive engineering, if nothing else. I mean, Jesus, I don't know about robotics, but that's impressive engineering.
Oh yeah, no, this is they're very cool robots. I'm not meaning to criticize. I think they're beyond state of the art. Although robot dancing is impressive, but it's not the hardest thing because it's all pre-programmed.
Yeah.
There's maybe a certain amount of sensing in there, but
if you could,
the balance, Atlas's balance is just incredible. And
even now is really well engineered. I mean, for probably a thousandth of the cost, you could get a little now robot that could do some pretty impressive stuff on one leg.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. These are good to watch.
Yeah, that was a cool video.
When are our contestants coming today?
I don't know. I think Daniel might be speaking to one now, is he? Yeah. So there's somebody coming online soon.
I think we have a message.
So there's a question about, connecting IBM Watson with MiRo.
Where's this?
We have thought about that. We haven't really done much in that direction. I think we'd probably go with a more general sort of chatbot type capability before, because Watson's really a question answering system. It's not so much for just talking to. And the problem with most chatbots, of course, is they don't know anything about the world. And you want a robot chatbot to be context aware. So it has to, you don't want to just be respond to spoken words. You want to be able to respond to the situation and who's around and what's happening. So you really need to build scene awareness alongside the natural language processing capability. And that makes the problem harder and easier. It's harder because it's hard to build scene awareness, but it's easier in that once you've got scene awareness, it's easier to find things to talk about or to understand what people are saying, because people are usually talking about what's happening here and now. So yeah, we're looking for people who want to build NLP, natural language processing capabilities for MiRo. So if anyone wants to do that as a hobby, get in touch.
So this question came in. Where did this question come in?
It's in the stream chat. Might be from yesterday. I don't know if this is.
Maybe. I don't think so. Is it the Cyberselves stream chat?
Yeah, it may be. It's in the Cyberselves twitch.tv/Cyberselves. It may be a question from yesterday, but we've got around to answering it at last.
Oh, good. Better late than never.
The question, Tony, is will MiRo talk back?
Well, I mean, there's a few that MiRo shouldn't talk because it's a animal-like robot. But I'm coming around to the view that it probably could talk, because animals talk in cartoons, and people expect animals to talk in various situations.
Do you know what's really powerful about MiRo, and having done a lot of demonstrations with humanoid robots and with MiRo over the years all around, is I find that MiRo, people don't expect as much of it. So in some cases, it's more effective as a social robot, because with Now or Pepper, people look at it and they go, "Hi," and Pepper says, "Hi," and people say, "How are you?" and Pepper says, "I'm well. How are you?" and they say, "I'm good, thanks." "So what do you think of the weather today?" Pepper goes, "Huh?" Like, it's got a very limited. Nobody was that.
I think that's the problem, is that robot language understanding is rubbish.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just pre-programmed, and people probably don't realize the extent to which a lot of the responses are pre-programmed. So, and particularly Sophia, is. Although people knock Sophia, I quite like Sophia. We could play a Sophia video.
Let's not.
No, I like it.
Why?
What do you mean? What's not to like?
Not particularly a fan.
Well, we did meet it
we
in London, didn't we? And it wasn't as impressive. I was going to say in person, but
what do
I
you
was
like?
there in person.
What do you like about it, Tony? Tell Daniel and I why we're wrong not to like Sophia.
What I like about it is it's a kind of theatre. It's kind of performance.
This is true.
It's robotics as a sort of performance, and and it's you can't really knock the sort of realism of the facial expression. It's really good, and it can also have a conversation, even though a lot of it's pre-programmed. So it's not bad. It's certainly state of the art, and it's got a sophisticated chatbot. Where it falls down is that it makes too many strong claims for itself.
No, no robotic.
Yeah, that's where it really gets to me.
Yeah,
that is a depth sensor, Michael.
What?
It's a depth sensor.
Depth, a depth sensor. But
Like a Kinect.
Like we wouldn't notice.
This is quite a new Sophia video. Let's watch this one.
Yeah, I have to say, in this video, the face is less dead than usual.
Yeah, that's true. Is this brand new?
It's like a year old. There's this one that's 4 months old. Can you put that one on, Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah, she is a bit like Ex Machina. That's right. But and did you like that robot?
I don't know.
I mean, it's kind of, do you like the actress, really, isn't it? So.
Well, he's really good.
All right. Have we got sound? Yeah.
Not on this one. I can put it on.
(2021).
I am an artificial intelligence. You might like to become an artificial intelligence.
Hong Kong-based Hanson Robotics says 4 models, including Sophia, will start rolling out of factories by the first half of 2021. The company's founder and CEO, David Hanson.
We are just now mass producing Sophia. This is Sophia number 24, and many of my previous robots were hand built. However, now we have begun scaling the manufacturing of Sophia so we can make hundreds and into thousands of units of Sophia, and use this also as the foundation for many other kinds of characters. How did you feel when
They created her to promote human-to-machine empathy and compassion. She's appeared on late-night shows and the cover of
I do
fashion
wonder if one thing with
magazines.
Sophia
She was
is
even given
like
legal
Boston Dynamics,
citizenship in
bad
Saudi
PR.
Arabia and appointed the UN's first non-human
Like,
innovation
for example, if you had a
champion.
robot,
Her
like, you
new
should never
role
have
is
to make
in the
that scary
healthcare
face.
sector. taking
I'd say more
temperatures with a
exaggerated
thermal camera
messaging
on the
rather
chest
than bad
or
PR.
using
Is she actually
morning
crying
exercise
tears?
elderly.
Social robots like me can help
maybe.
take care
I
of
don't
the sick
know.
or
That
elderly
would be
in
silly.
many kinds of healthcare and medical
But also
uses.
the
I can
that whole
help
thing, which
communicate,
country
give
gave it
therapy, and
citizenship?
provide social stimulation, even in difficult
Dumb idea
situations.
from any country. Worse when it was a country.
Saudi
that-
Arabia.
Yes, I was going to say which. Worse when it's from a country that doesn't give full rights to all of its citizens already. So it actually gives more rights to a robot version of a woman than actual women. If I
So
understand
useful
correctly, was the
during
complaints
these
at the time.
times where people are terribly lonely and
Bad
socially
decision.
isolated. And people need to be isolated from each other.
We've got a first
because to be
contestant
around people
on.
is dangerous.
Who we got? Sorry, my dog seems to be barking in the background. I'm just going to mute until I'm needed.
Put your dog on mute.
No, I just meant mute. You know what I mean. Stop teasing me.
So I wonder how much Sophia is going to cost to buy.
Okay, now I can see this maze.
Perfect. Okay. So, do you want to guide you through how to control the robot? You have the WASD buttons on screen, and those can also be used via the keyboard. W will move the robot forward, S moves the robot backwards, D rotates the robot to the right, and A rotates the robot to the left. And then on your right, there are the arrow keys as well, buttons on screen, but also map to the arrows on the keyboard, and you can use those to move the robot's head as well. You're currently in a starting area, so feel free to test the control of the robot and get accustomed to that. And then as soon as you're off, when you cross the black line in front of you, the timer will start. And we will time you until you reach the checkerboard at the very end of the maze.
Great.
So we've got our first contestant on here. Where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from Kenya.
Calling from Kenya, so quite a distance away.
You know.
Yeah, of course.
I can see Daniel, but I can't hear him.
Yes, because I'm helping the contestants set up in the other room.
Who is our contestant? Daniel? No, he's on the wrong channel now.
Here we go. We've got Harsh from Kenya taking it away for a first trial of the day.
Excellent. How far away is that? What's our distance?
We'll check. And I'd say the time has started. And we're off to the races. Into the chicane, as Tony is calling it, yes.
Is this the MiRo Maze first round trial through?
Yes.
Whoa, that's a loud bam. It's not the maze falling apart, is it?
This is a decent first run.
It was very well built, that maze. I'm not knocking it.
This maze is it's a miracle of engineering. It's like the what's the famous bridge? The Golden Gate.
Hey,
Leaning Tower of Pisa. Well done. It's a good time.
1.5 minutes.
That is
good time.
Great timing. 1.5 minutes.
For somebody who's on the...
It was 1:33. You can see it on screen there. 1:33 and 92 milliseconds.
And did you say you were in Africa? So this is our first contestant from the
Yes,
African continent.
it is actually.
So excellent. It worked pretty fast.
Can we measure this distance out?
Are they going for attempt 2?
Yeah, they're ready to go for attempt 2.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I think we need to find somebody in Australia who wants to have a go.
I'm thinking at some point we're going to start.
I guess they might be asleep.
Yeah, we're going to start having to really struggle to get these things. So where's our contestant, Daniel? Do we know?
Kenya.
Where in Kenya? It's a big place.
No, I don't know where in Kenya.
Ask.
All right, it's 11:15. Canberra.
Oh, Harsh, we have reset your robot, and you're ready to go for a second try.
Okay, we're talking about 7,000 kilometers right now. We don't know precisely because we don't know what town the contestant's in, but 7,000 kilometers is impressive. Is this the longest we've done, or we had yesterday somebody was in somewhere in India, I think, which might be further away. That's 6,956.39 kilometers. And we're off. The clock is on. Better finding your feet to the first trip. Well handled the first turn. Oh, oof. Good. Through the first chicane. Very professionally taken. Very nice. Oh, too much of a turn. Oh, right, wrong way. And up. A little bit of getting stuck in the bottom there. Oh, very nice. Very good. The second, is that the dog leg, Tony? Oh, visiting, stopping, saying hello to Wall-E there on the famous Wall-E corner. Hey, here we go. Another successful run. 129. Must have been a quick blitz there at the end.
Bit of crowd applause.
It is 1 minute 29 seconds. You've reduced your run by 4 seconds. Yes, and we've got 2 more minutes left on your timing. So take it away whenever you're ready for your third try. Yes, exactly. Ooh, expertly maneuvered around that corner.
Nice turn. Oh, very good.
Very nice turn there.
Oh, over-rotated right at the
Oh
end.
no. It is quite nippy as it turns. There we go. 1 minute 19. That's even lower than your previous run. What was the previous run? 122? 129. So that's a 10-second improvement. Great work, Harsh. Sorry? Yes. But that's a great time around the track. Thank you for joining us today. And yeah, we'll let you know if you make it to the finals.
Thank you.
All right, MiRo is now set and ready to go again. Now, next up, we have Kees Hendrikse. I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Kees Hendrikse. Sorry about that.
It's Case.
Yes, Kees is on.
Yay.
Show us how it's done.
Let's go, Case.
All right, so Kees, whenever you're ready, feel free to teleport into the robot.
We seem to have lost sound. Well, I have anyway. Oh, I can. Maybe it's Daniel we can't hear. I hope everybody can still hear me. We're just waiting for Case to give his run. Let's see here. There's got to be some good. He's usually good on the Twitch feed. So if you're not watching, by the way, you have to be, else you wouldn't be listening to me right now. If you want, we've got Twitch on Cyberselves and UK Robotics. We've got YouTube, Cyberselves and UK Robotics, and we have our Facebook page as well. All very exciting. We are multi-platforming. I like it. We're starting to get into some commentary in the comments now himself on Twitch particularly. So he's what a turn, Lazen Bobby says.
For this.
Excellent. That's what I want to see. Now we get some trash talking going in there. We'll start. I just wait. Jonah was going to post something yesterday after beating everybody and say something about us boomers not being able to do it. But we get more young people in today, so hopefully we'll get some faster times in. Looks like we're having a small technical problem. Two. I'm waiting for movement of the robot before getting very excited. I think Daniel's beard's getting slightly bushier. Feel free to comment in the Twitch stream if you like Daniel's beard. He trimmed it recently. I think it's getting a bit thicker now. I like it. Oh, we have some news here just from the internal team. Right. So for those of you that don't know, I'm still isolating in my luxury palace here. While everybody else is there in the Diamond in Sheffield. Oh, did I spot movement? Or is it, oh, here we go. And yes, we're getting ready now. The MiRo is on.
Second contestant case, and his time started now.
Welcome back, Daniel.
On that first corner, always a tricky one.
Nope.
I can ask you about that. Yeah. I mean, we're in competitions. Yeah. Okay. Well,
oh, very nicely done.
Oh, smooth. Very smooth.
He's going for it. He's going for a sub nice. 1 minute run there.
Oh, yes. Barring tragedy.
Almost like you've done this before, Case.
Oh, took that turn a little too tight.
You're a natural.
That last straightaway, that's more people up than I would have imagined.
Hey, 54-second run. That is incredible timing. All right. I mean,
here, I can tell you.
We'll be resetting the robot for you and have you do another one. Michael, what was your last time? Case is challenging that time.
Well, my last one.
Yeah.
30, slightly slower than Jonas. 35, 36. Ask the guy who
was 36 seconds, Case. 36 seconds from Michael Slossie is the time to beat.
He's got the smoothness. He's got the moves. Does he have the luck? Can he keep it together when he's under pressure? That's the question.
That is the question. Doing well so far.
Yes, but he repairs it. He can still go. I think he's still on course here. He can still pull this off.
Yes. Down Terminator Alley.
Yeah.
Brief hello to Wally there.
Oh. It paused on me.
Oh, yes, the stream has... Okay, we've regained the stream there. Oh, 33 seconds. He does beat Michael's time on his second try.
Oh, I'm glad to see it.
He beat Michael's time. A bit slower than Michael's son, but just by a second.
He's a good man and half my age, so he definitely deserves to have all the advantages. Is he going again?
Yes, third try. We've got
and he's off.
3 more minutes left.
If he can avoid the problems on the first 2 turns, he's got the rest of the course nailed. Very good through the chicane now. That used to be the trickiest part of the course. I think people have sussed it now. He's even better on that part. That's his strength right there. Oh,
the 180 is always difficult there.
Oh,
36 and 35. Yeah, it's a great time, but not as good as before.
All right.
I think we might need good time to come to the final. So the final is tomorrow.
Right. We're going to go to the interview now.
Yeah, we're going live.
All right. We're going to...
You give me a wave when we're ready. Oh, here we are. So, hi everyone. I hope you're enjoying the exciting competition. There's some fast times being put up today. But we're going to have a short break here and talk to Dr. Emma Norling, who is Director of Learning and Teaching in Computer Science at the University of Sheffield. And we are based at the University of Sheffield, obviously today in the Diamond Building. And we're going to have a quick chat about what it's like to be a student here. So Emma, good afternoon. So it's been a different year for us, hasn't it, teaching computer science under the current COVID restrictions. What have we been doing to sort of try and make it fun for students?
Yeah, it has. It's been challenging, to say the least. But in some ways, as computer scientists, we're quite well equipped to deal with these issues because obviously it's computing technology behind us all doing this online teaching. And I've been impressed about how engaged the students have been through this medium. They've adapted really quickly to the online meetings. It's a bit disconcerting giving a lecture to a blank screen because they won't turn their cameras on, but they engage in the chat, and so we see the text questions and that type of thing. And in terms of the teamwork that they've been doing, because teamwork is a really core part of our studies, I feel that they've actually engaged better in their teams in many cases than they do when they're all in the classroom together, perhaps because they're not getting distracted by other teams or something. But they've been really understanding of the different difficulties that people are going through, because everybody's, in different locations with different internet connectivity and different time zones as well, because we've had our students spread all over the world. So they've had to sort of coordinate when's the best time window that they can for a team that's distributed over maybe 10, 12 different hours in terms of time. But they've been working really well together. And we've been trying to help them by putting on things like virtual coffee mornings that they can come along and just chat about general problems rather than course-specific problems, and trying to build the community that perhaps they miss out on a little bit when they don't linger after lectures and that type of thing they normally would.
Yeah, for me as a lecturer, it has been interesting and challenging times, and I found myself obviously recording my lectures but preparing them differently and thinking about the material in a different way, and presenting it when we did some sort of live group sessions as well was interesting. As you say, people will sometimes say things in the chat they might not want to hold their hand up and speak in class, so it is liberating in some respects for that. And do you think we can take the best aspects of what we've been doing as sort of lockdown teaching and preserve them as we go forward and open up a bit more next year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me personally, I've given flipped lectures before where I've had the students watching pre-recorded material and then had a recap class kind of thing. So that's been a style that I've used even before lockdown. And now that we're going back to some sort of face-to-face teaching in the coming year, I will certainly retain the recorded material that I've got, even if I duplicate it in the classroom, because for some students that's really valuable. As you say, when you're recording stuff for them to watch in advance, you do it in a different style. It's a bit more concise than you would in a lecture, where you gauge from the class and you might repeat things and go over things. And we do record most of our lectures that are in the classroom, but it's quite tedious to go through an hour-long lecture just to catch up on that 10 minutes that you missed. Whereas when we're recording for pre-recorded material, we tend to break it down into short chunks, topic-based. So it's really easy to go back and recap on what you want. And all that material that I've gathered, it's going to be there for my students, even if I give normal lectures.
Yeah, and I think we are hopefully going to have more face-to-face teaching come the autumn. And so people that are thinking about coming to the university next year, what should they expect? Will it be blended? What's the plan at the moment? I know things are up in the air a bit still.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell with the way things are going at the moment, but we're certainly hoping for a lot more face-to-face activities. It's unlikely that we're going to have the large group lectures that we traditionally would have. So any of the big lectures are probably going to still be pre-recorded, but we're hoping to have more sort of tutorial style, laboratory-based material where we're actually in the classroom and we have the chance to talk to each other and learn from each other as well as from the lectures and that type of thing. It's certainly going to be blended because we recognise that there are some students who might be stuck in countries where there are travel restrictions or things like that, where they're not going to be able to get back to Sheffield, at least at first. So for them, they'll be able to continue their studies online. But we think the best experience is going to be for those who can be in Sheffield, who can participate in the on-campus experience.
What do you think is distinctive about computer science at Sheffield compared to doing it almost anywhere else in the world? What do we do differently?
I think at Sheffield and in the engineering faculty in general, we have a very practical bent where we're very keen on students getting experience of what it's going to be like in industry. And one of the ways we do that in computer science is through the software engineering program. We have a module that our students do in second year called the Software Hut, where they work in small teams to work on a project for a real client, often somebody somewhere else in the university, but not from a computer science background. So they have that experience of learning to deal with people who aren't necessarily technically literate. They have to translate the requirements into terms that people can understand and that sort of thing. It's a very different experience to being given a specification that you then have to go and write a program for. Having to work out what that specification is a challenge in itself, which our students really discover through that module. And they love that experience, and it gives them, huge advantage, I think.
Yeah, I think I've been in this university for way longer than I want to remember, but I was in psychology for decades, and then I managed to change job but keep the same office and switch from psychology to computer science. But what I noticed about the culture in computer science is there's real interest in how we create real-world impact from our research and helping people make that crossover from research into practice. And that goes right the way through our degree teaching and into the research that we do. And in Sheffield Robotics, we've got a bunch of spin-out companies, but we also have students starting spin-out companies as well. And we really encourage that and promote it and train people towards that, which I think is great. Michael has joined the interview. Did you have a question for Emma?
No, yeah, I'm enjoying just listening to you two talk for a while. I'm, as you know, I'm not a computer scientist by background, so I've done a lot of teaching at the university. Very little of it in the computer science department. A lot of it's from other things. So a lot of the questions you're asking about face-to-face and the conversation about how that teaching is going to evolve, I think is really interesting. I think there's looking at it, the way technology's developed, I think it's very, it's intriguing the way that you think that we live in this 21st century. It'd be easy just to pick up teaching and move it online. This, I think, is what everybody assumed would happen in the COVID age. Where it's the same thing. We just do it because we're all used to Zoom chats. But in practice, it was very different. Most of what I've had to learn is from watching my wife, who teaches English Lit at Sheffield, and it's not the same as just picking up our lessons and moving to it online. And we have to adapt. We have to redefine our practice, I think, when we do that. And one thing I'm keen about in terms of what we're trying to do with robotics is building a kind of resilience into the system so that, heaven forbid, we ever have to do this again. And I think we have every expectation we might have to do this again, that we're somehow ready for it, that we somehow know what we're doing. So I think we're always going to go back to a kind of blended teaching. I don't think we should ever get to the point necessarily where we're saying, okay, well, that's COVID done. Now let's go back to the way everything was before. I think we've got to be a bit more creative and kind of take some of these lessons we've learned and carry them with us.
Absolutely. I mean, I think with robotics, it's, you know, because I talk to a lot of our undergraduates who do the robotics at Sheffield. And one of the things they say is how beneficial it is to have the simulators where they can try out their ideas anywhere, anytime. And it's not quite the same experience as doing it with the real robot, but it's much better than nothing at all, where you just write your code and you then go into the lab and then put it on the robot and discover it doesn't work. At least you can iron out a lot of the problems using the simulator.
And our computer scientists do that anyway. I mean, when I have taught in computer science, we started with simulation, and then you go on for that very reason that, you know, if you're going to ruin a robot, drive it off a tabletop, better to do it in simulation first than do it to a 2,000 pound or a 20,000 pound robot. Do you think that computer science students and computer scientists in general, but that they're better prepared for this new world we're going to have to enter into because they're already there? You know, well, maybe it's hard for me to say. I'm not a digital native. I know I look young, but I'm not. You know, I'm not that young. But you know, is it just all digital natives are going to be better at this, or do you think the computer science students have a bit of an advantage because they're more comfortable working in remote cyber spaces?
Yeah, I don't know. It's quite difficult to say. I'd say that it was a struggle. It was as much of a struggle for them, I think, as for anyone, because it's not, as you say, it's not just a matter of picking up and putting it online. It's a totally different experience when you move to online teaching. And from talking to the students at the start of the thing, what I found most was that they were missing those small conversations they'd have before and after the class in the corridors, where they'd just be chatting, just getting a feel of how everybody else was going relative to themselves. And, you know, like, yeah, this really is a really hard topic, not just me, it's everybody struggling with this. And when they're all separate and they only come together for the online sessions, they don't have those informal opportunities. So as I was saying earlier, one of the things that I've found really valuable for them was to set up these like virtual coffee mornings where they could have those informal chats and talk about whatever they wanted, which included how darn hard that subject was, or this bit was easy, or, you know, that type of thing.
That's really
I think
Go ahead, Tony.
It's interesting that the experience of the last year and a half has really shown that we're not just going to shift away from students coming to university and being in a place and studying for a degree. That's not going to disappear. And I don't know if you know Martin Ford's book, The Rise of the Robots, but he has, it was written about 5 years ago. He has a chapter in there about education and about how university education is going to be massively disrupted by online media, and, you know, sort of a few big universities like I don't know, MIT and Harvard, Oxford, are going to take over and have these massive online courses that everyone's going to do. But I think that isn't the way things are going to pan out, because students do really want that link, both with each other and with staff, and you can't do that with classes of 10,000. And I think we found it, you know, as difficult or more difficult to teach a class of, what is it, about 300 in computer science online as if they were here in person. So I don't think you can just instantly scale up education in the way that people might imagine. There are aspects of it which are one-to-one and face-to-face, which we need to keep.
Yeah, the personal connection is just so important to just opportunities that arise from those casual conversations. Like one of these students who came to my virtual coffee morning is doing a summer research project just because she mentioned she was interested in a particular topic. And I said, oh, well, you should talk to so-and-so. And so she talked to this other lecturer, and she's got a few weeks work just exploring this idea that she was interested in. And unless you have that personal connection, those opportunities don't arise.
I think what you're saying is very, I was going to say, I think what you're saying is something very important for pedagogy for all teachers to learn and university lecturers is that, you know, we can have those moments, but you have to create those opportunities for those discrete encounters that don't exist online in a structured way, the same way they exist in an unstructured way, face to face. So that's really interesting. I think that's something that's a good lesson for everybody, isn't it?
Interesting.
Yeah, we're sort of, I think, coming to the end of the time we've got, Emma. You were telling me that you were involved in education competitions, which is something obviously we're really interested in. Tell me about the one that you're doing. Okay,
so in fact, the competition for this year just closed at midday today. The teams had to submit their videos for the Pi Wars competition, which is a Raspberry Pi robotics one where the teams have to build their own robot, which is based around a Raspberry Pi, which the MiRo is based around a Raspberry Pi, but obviously that one's off the shelf. These ones have to be built from scratch. And then they have a series of challenges that they have to do. Usually it's held in Cambridge every year, and everybody comes together and competes in various competitions like mazes and line following and various different challenges like that. This year it's virtual and it's all being done at home. So people have been given a set of challenges where they have to set it up at home and then film it and submit videos. So we've now got a judging period, and I think that the awards are being done on the 10th of July this year. There's both school teams and open teams involved in it, and it runs usually on an annual basis.
Right, and for people that want to get involved for next year perhaps, how can they find out more?
Go have a look at the webpage. It's just piwars.org. Yeah. So it's nice and easy to find.
At the bottom of the video.
Yeah, okay, we'll put a link in the chat too. So yeah, I think that's all we've got time for. We've got somebody lined up to do the MiRo Maze again in a moment. Right. So thanks very much for coming and chatting to us today, and and have a good holiday, because I think you've had a very busy time.
I've got no holiday yet. We've still got exam boards coming.
Well, that's that. Well, after that, I hope you have a couple of weeks of total rest. And see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The robot. Oh, that's quite loud. So, if you look at the address bar, there is a padlock to the left of it. I'm assuming you're running Google Chrome as well.
Yeah, got it.
Perfect. Yeah. So if you click on that padlock and you go to site settings.
Hello. Is this another contestant? Who is this, Daniel? sure what's happening at the moment.
Okay, and now we're going to teleport. Oh, no, we don't need to go to teleport, do we? Sorry.
I will need you to do those settings, yes.
Yeah, so we're going to... Okay, so I've clicked on here now, and the option, it says certificate, cookies, and site settings. Site settings we need to click on.
Yes, please.
And then...
And then all the way to the bottom,
Yeah.
fourth option from the bottom,
Yeah.
it says insecure content. I will need you to allow that.
Okay, that's done.
Perfect. So now if you close the settings tab and go back to the Cyberselves page,
Yeah.
I'll need you to refresh, and then you're ready to connect to the robot.
And to connect, do we just click on teleport?
Just clicking on teleport, that's it, yes.
Okay, and the password that we've just set up?
Precisely.
Oh, yeah, that's working.
And you're connected. Can you see?
Yeah. Is that MiRo?
Perfect. You are seeing from MiRo's eyes. So you can see from his eyes, and you can also control how to move it. So you've got WASD on screen, but also you can control them from the keyboard. W and S for forwards and backwards. And then D and A for rotating the robot to the right with D and to the left with A. And you also have the arrow keys, again, both on screen and for the keyboard. And when you use those, you can change where the robot looks. We do suggest that you keep it looking downwards, because that's the best view for the maze.
Are you ready?
What do you mean?
Do you want to start moving MiRo through the maze?
Yeah, so you are right now in a testing area. And then as soon as you go through that first threshold, your time starts. And we will time how fast you can get to the checkerboard, which is at the very end of the maze. Okay? I'll do the announcement live now. Hello, everyone. We're back with another contestant. This time, we have got Sarim.
Hi.
He's a primary school student, and he's going to be going around the maze for us. He's currently getting accustomed to the controls, looking around. Oh, whenever you're ready, it's all ready for you to go. And the time has started. Oh, the first headbutt.
Always hard on that first turn. Even when people are more experienced.
Straight into the Cyberselves logo there.
It's almost like the complexity of a simple 90 degree. I don't know what it is, but reverse. Come off the wall.
I see, yes, this is a very new experience compared to MiRo Cloud.
We're gonna have to make this maze for MiRo Cloud now, I think, so people can do their own autonomous, can design it so the robot can autonomously navigate the maze. Ah, very good.
Yep, into the chicane now. Oh, worse things have happened to this MiRo.
You have no idea. We've done horrible things to Miro.
That's right. Yes. Here at Cyberselves and at the university, we call that the Miro developing character. When it develops something different than other Miros, like you say, a droopy eyelid.
There's a legitimate case here. We could talk about a kind of existentialism, where like that's a good time.
There we go. That is the end of the maze, and our time there is 1 minute 55 seconds. That is a very good time for a first run.
That's a very good.
Resetting the robot back to its initial starting position, and you can have a second go.
Very good. Yeah, we find that robots, they come to us all kind of new and packaged and fresh, and they're a bit boring. And then it takes, well, the way Daniel and I treat them, usually about a day for them to start to develop a tick.
Yes, you can start whenever you're ready.
And then that's when they become personalized. And we're off. And that's when we, oh, no, not yet. Sorry. Oh, now we're off. Yeah. We start to think of them more as personalized when we start to develop faults. And I wonder to what extent we can say the same about human beings. They come out all kind of fresh and new, and they're a little bit boring, let's be honest. I mean, they're cute, right? But they're boring. And then they develop characters as they get scarred by the experience of living in the world. And I wonder if that's what the personality is. It's just a way of dealing with the problems that arise. Let me know if I'm getting a bit too heavy on.
No, but that I feel like that's even true for humans as well. Those minute changes and imperfections that make us human.
Yeah. So you say that somebody has got a very bubbly personality or very extroverted. Well, that might just be covering up for some kind of deep anxiety of, a fear of quiet or a fear of not being in control of a situation. But those anxieties, how we respond to those anxieties, pile up to create what we call a personality.
Precisely.
And I choose when we go to primary school student to bring up the existential philosophy, and I don't know why. I'm not a huge fan of existentialism, but I do find this all very interesting. And it's very Freudian, this. Isn't it, Sigmund?
Oh.
We should actually get Siggy on camera somehow. Over my shoulder. Actually, this is a good metaphor. Sigmund Freud sits over my shoulder at all times.
Come on, yes, it is at the University of Sheffield. You're correct, Sirim. Sorry to interrupt there, Michael.
No, not at all. I'm just hoping we can beat the last time. Come on, get off the wall, get off the wall.
Come on, come on.
Try reversing and then going at it. That's it, that's it. Sometimes you got to not be afraid. That's it.
There we go.
Solid finish.
1 minute, 52 seconds. 2 seconds slower, but I think you can do so much better in a third try, don't you think?
Yeah, sometimes you've got to actually
we'll reset the robot for you and we'll go a third time.
One of the eyelids is closer.
Cool, got it. Whenever you're ready.
And rough. There we go.
And the timing starts. Oh, that first corner is always a head butter.
It so often is, isn't it? That's it. Try reversing.
Sliding across walls now.
Get reversed to get the right direction. There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Oh. Remind me to reinforce that wall.
Yes, I wonder if it's going to last until tomorrow.
I hope so.
That specific section of wall has been headbutted so many times over this week.
You know what's funny is that before I built this maze, some people said it was too complicated or too big. Now I'm thinking. I'm thinking now we need something trickier. Oh, that was nicely done. Oh, that was smooth.
Oh, that is very well done. Oh, just the last bit there. Crashing against the wall.
Honest, this is good negotiation. This is good. Yes, we've learned. Excellent.
All right, let's do that one last 180. Ooh. I'm caught in a tight spot there. Need to rotate. There we go, there we go, there we go.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, bit more, bit more. Hit it, hit it, hit the checkerboard.
Smash into that wall.
There we go.
There we go.
1 minute 40. Your last score, well, your best score.
Oh, sorry, 1 minute 40.
1 minute 40, your last one.
That's pretty good.
That is very well done. How did you find that? Glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, MiRo's going to be fine. In any case, we'll just replace his head.
If all athletes were so easy. So, you know, I coach an ice hockey team.
Yeah, it was also a great choice to paint the walls white. That way, when they're rubbing off on MiRo, you can't see the difference.
It's gray, actually. The walls are gray.
Well, thank you so much, Sarim, for coming on. It's great to have you on.
Where was he?
I'll let you know if you make it to the finals.
Where was he located, Daniel?
Can you tell us where you're coming from, as in where you're calling in from? UK. Sheffield. So we've got a local. Great. Well, it's great going. Now we've got Richard from Wales coming up next.
Oh, is he a young person, a primary school student, maybe a high school?
Primary school, yes.
Primary school student. Excellent.
Level. It's that. Hi, Melissa.
Hi. Good luck, Richard.
Oh, yeah. What did you get, Melissa? What was your time?
Then if he's a young
Oh, I
person.
haven't had a go.
Oh, you've got to have a go.
I've not had to go yet. It looks great.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think the more computer gaming experience, then the better the skills are for this.
Exactly, which is my
yeah,
problem.
definitely. My gaming skills are not that great.
I know, mine are negligible, if that.
All right, so Richard, whenever you're ready.
I'll turn off. I'm on the portal as well. I'll get rid of that, shall I?
No, just refresh and reconnect.
I want through the portal.
Yes.
Good luck, Richard.
Yeah, so up next we have Richard Waterstone from Wales. He's the last founder from Cyberselves to have a go at this.
Richard. Oh.
To have a go at our internal scores here.
Oh,
and just a reminder to beat, we've got myself at 29 seconds, but that's done locally. But that's done locally. We'll put that aside. And then we've got Michael at what, 136, Michael?
No, 32.
Are you that far in front?
132, 132.
No, not 132. 35.
Right, so let's start.
35 seconds, yes. Well, Richard, whenever you're ready.
Nice try.
I am stuck already.
Quite the headbang there.
I can't believe you added a minute onto my best time.
I forgot.
What the hell is going on here?
My butt. What are you talking about? Just so you know, Richard is 200 kilometers away.
There we go. Timing starts now. Boom. Headbutt.
Oh, I can see Richard on the feed.
You don't actually feel the crashes, do you?
Looking good, bud.
As well.
Can you feel the crashes, Richard?
No.
Wouldn't it be great if we could
you don't actually feel them, do you?
That's what I'm saying. Full body.
No.
For those at home, we at Cyberselves do have a Tesla suit now, full body haptic suit. It'd be great to wear this every time MiRo bumps into somebody. Like that. That'd be instead right into the maze.
You don't even need that. You know, with an accelerometer inside of MiRo, we could detect bumps and make them flash red on the operator side.
That'd be quite a
But I'm
good
talking
idea,
about
wouldn't it?
learning through pain.
Because
then,
you're not actually
necessarily
really aware
away.
that you crashed into anything.
Certainly for the
Yes.
military too, right? He handled the chicane and the U-turn well.
Yes, he did. Now Terminator Alley's next.
Yeah, he's not doing bad, to be fair.
Terminator Alley.
I was expecting much.
That's a great name.
You've got to say hello to Wally, Richard.
Hello.
Oh, very nicely done there. Now it's a 180. 180 is difficult.
I'm talking. Nobody's hearing me right now.
He went through that excellently. And boom, 1 minute 22 seconds.
Well,
that is great timing. 1 minute 22. Place you solidly at third place, Richard.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks, Daniel. Slightly better than my first attempt.
We'll reset your robot and we'll have you go through that again.
I'm going to do it again.
Of course.
Oh.
We give you up to 3 tries to go around the maze.
Right, so back on the portal. Here we go. That first corner is quite tricky.
It's the first judgment that you have to make about the robot's width.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
There we go. We've got Michael joining in as well.
See, this is a funny thing. I was talking to you, Daniel. It wasn't being hilarious. Just for the record, I was being like some of my best work. In that I was philosophizing. Did you hear me talking about existentialism?
Yeah, we heard all.
Oh, okay, that was good. Did you hear me talking about how much I love Richard?
We cut that out. It wasn't deemed appropriate.
Luckily, we missed that bit.
I was just talking about how I'm surprised he's doing so well, relatively speaking.
Oh, really? Really? I believe you.
I mean, you got to give it to him. Wales is the other side of the country, isn't it?
200 kilometers away. That's good time.
What's my time on that one?
Great time, great time. What was that one?
I've had times that are worse.
112. That's 10 seconds shaved off, Richard.
I've had worse.
The first go, Daniel, you big traitor. The first go, I was just experimenting and using the mouse and clicking around and putting the head round and all that. Honestly, I'm not going to forget the treachery of publicising that time.
Careful, Richard. You know you are.
Couldn't resist it. Couldn't resist.
Thousands right now.
Right. Shall I go again?
I say this about the live stream.
The material was too good.
Everybody can see how many people are watching.
And
The
time
material
starts.
is too good. That is true.
Well, done greatly to that first corner there. Ooh.
He's all right.
Boom, headbutt.
He does.
You
Richard,
hear that? I did hear that one.
You're thinking very linearly. Try to imagine more contouring. Find your racing line. Stick to it. Your daughter's a rower.
Bring out this one. I've tried to be a bit too clever on this run.
Oh, his daughter had a try earlier, and it was amazing.
Really?
It was really
honestly,
good.
She's been sent to bed with no supper for that.
It was 35-second run.
That's better than mine.
But we also have, during the interview, we've had our best run yet. Our 3 best runs, I would say. So we had Josh from Sheffield.
Yeah.
His first run was 36 seconds.
Jesus.
Second run, 29. And on his third run, we clocked a 25-second run through the whole maze.
Wow.
Wow.
Honestly, incredible work.
That is incredible work. Right, I'm a minute. There we go. I'll stop there in a minute.
Don't you want to crack a minute, Richard? Wouldn't just to say.
No,
under
I'll
a
be
minute.
fine. I find it
'Cause
quite.
right now you can't say under a minute.
I need to go and have a lie down as it is, I think.
You can't. We're interviewing you.
That's very good, then, Mark. You've done a lovely job on the maze. It's lovely. It looks like a kind of microcrete plaster you've put on it or something.
That's what we were going for. Yeah, exactly. That's what we've done. Or gray paint.
It's really nice.
It does look okay.
It
I
looks
gotta
really
say,
good.
credit Tony, because I was suspicious of the green floor, but I think the green floor on camera works.
Yeah,
It's very
it
green.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a very green. When you see it, in live, it's.
Have you had Claire trying it? Claire Asher.
I don't know if Claire tried it. Claire might be watching. Claire, if you haven't tried it yet, please come and join us and give it a go.
Yes.
Oh, so this is an open channel. Awesome. Oh,
Yes, we do have a gap now that Richard's retiring early from the competition.
I am retiring early. Well, I think a minute. There we go. I just stop in a minute. I've beaten Martha. That's the main thing. Although she had one go.
I thought you said Martha did 35 seconds.
Or am I getting my timings wrong?
No, I think she got 1:30.
Ah, yes, she did get 1/3. Yeah, sorry.
Daniel,
Quite off there.
Daniel,
My memory is not
35
so good.
seconds. You swapped Martha and
I see, okay.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, you got 35. I thought that made sense, Michael. I thought, how could I beat Michael? That doesn't make any sense
That
at all.
doesn't make any sense. That's what I was thinking. It can't make sense.
We can't have it. It would just upset the
Thinking
total
of you going to my
balance here.
defense for it, thinking you can do those. I can't have it. I just can't have it. Can't have it.
In
We're
fact, I
learning
just
that
can't
Daniel
imagine
starting
that.
to lose his marbles a little bit as he gets older too. When we say adults, so 25 seconds, that's impressive. When we say adults, right? Like I'm an adult, Richard's an adult. Case is like what? He's an adult, but how old are you?
What you mean?
Right.
Students should be
How old are you?
handicapped.
I'm gonna check the screen. How old are you? You can have another go if you tell me how old you are. You're tops what? Late 20s? Like there's adult, and then there's Richard and I.
I think actually, if you're over 50, you should have 30 seconds taken off.
We should have a.
I don't know. Chris might be in the final. I don't want to be in the final. I'll leave that to you two.
Oh, so
Well, Andrew, whoever got 25 seconds. That's astonishing.
25 seconds, yes. It
No,
is
he's not that
incredible
old.
timing.
You're still young. You're still a young person. That still makes you a young person compared to.
If you're over 60s.
Well, we should have an adults and then a bus pass.
Whippersnapper. Oh, right. Oh, adults plus. Yeah. Bus pass. Oh, God. I knew it would be like this.
Very clever. Aha, plus OAP. Very funny.
Tony, you just missed Richard's runs.
Somebody's in trouble.
Well, he
1
did better
minute.
than you.
Yeah, too late. I saw it. You can delete it now, but I saw it. It's on the live stream.
1 minute, Tone. Where are you?
Hey guys, yesterday apparently we violated some kind of.
But I hear
Nope.
Tony. I hear from a certain little bird that Tony, you were doing it with the maze actually in front of you as well. That's definitely cheating, and you need to have a penalty, a time penalty.
Well, I need some practice before I have another go. Because I was doing it very cold.
Yeah.
You could tell the young people, the people that are kind of like the digital natives, the ones that game, because and this is, I guess, a serious point. But like Jonah picked it up yesterday, literally saying, "I don't know what I'm doing." Did 1:30, and then it's like one another go, "Yeah, sure." 32 seconds. It's like, and he still would play. Don't really know what I'm doing. I'm not gonna let my
I've
own
never
in
actually
here.
used WASD before. That's how much of a dinosaur I am. So I had
What
to
was
even
that?
do it on the keyboard.
Really?
Yeah.
That goes back to the days when I used to play with or pets. That the games were programmed in BASIC. You go, Daniel.
Right, we're going to do this interview, are we?
Are we going to do stop the fun and start the interview moment?
Is Melissa still around?
Oh, is Melissa joining us? Yeah. Well, we definitely need to stop and then start.
Melissa's son just did the MiRo Maze.
Yeah.
Right, is Melissa
Yeah,
coming
she was
back
on
to
before-
do
she was on
the
before me.
discussion?
She might be in the open chat.
Right.
I'm not sure.
I'm not leaving. I'll be back in a sec.
Melissa
happy to
Richard
start.
talk, that one.
It's fine. I almost got it.
Yeah.
And button plummeted.
Oh, she's there. Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
How was your MiRo Maze experience?
It was great. He had such a great time. I'm the best mum in the world now.
All right.
After a grumpy week of isolation home learning, I'm the best mum now.
What was his time?
140. He had 2 out of 3. The first one was the longest one, and then the second 2 were both 140.
All right. Okay, well, it's much better than I did.
Oh, was it?
So, yeah.
How did you do? Is Richard here?
Richard is joining. I don't know if
Okay.
he's. Oh, here he is.
I think Richard went.
Richard's
after.
just had a go, I think.
I can't get in the right room no matter what I do. We're gonna have a moment, but we're gonna start the interview because I like my claps. So.
Okay, we're not. Are we live or are we not live?
We're like waiting for.
Okay, but we're live, but we haven't officially started.
Okay, we're waiting for it.
So we're going to talk about robots in education and the various events that are coming up, and just generally about what we think. And we're also going to talk about the white paper, which is coming out next month. So, Richard, where are you? In the wrong chat. I can see him in another chat.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah. Well,
He's not in this one.
You probably see the feed.
Richard, you need to go in the other chat.
He's looking under his webcam. He has to do this. Hold on, let me go get him.
You have to go in another virtual room.
I will need to hop off exactly at 3 o'clock. So if people are busy in a conversation, I won't say anything. I'll just disappear.
Richard, you need to come in the room.
There we go.
Yeah, it's looking a bit nonplussed. It's not behind this room.
All right, now we have echoes. We're going to go with the echo. Are we all here?
Yes.
God, the live stream's going crazy with flipping angles all the time.
Hooray!
Okay, we're all here. Connor, we set to go?
Yeah, good to go.
Wait.
So
interview starting.
So hello again, everybody. We're going to have a chat now about robots and artificial intelligence in education. And we're talking with Melissa Butt, who is the director of discoverystem.org, which is a not-for-profit UK organization which organizes teacher training and generally supports getting more kids involved in robotics and AI. And with Richard Waterston, whose camera seems to be off, there he is, who is the lead author of a new report that is coming out next month from the UK Robotics and Autonomous Systems Network about teaching and education or education and skills in robotics and AI. So, Richard, let's start with the report. What do you think is the main challenge, and how do we overcome it? What's the finding, and what's the main recommendation from your report?
You're muted, Richard.
And you're frozen.
I shall start again. The main challenge is turning the microphone on plainly. Without going into kind of too many horrendous statistics about just, how poor the UK is in terms of its skills profile compared to a lot of our industrial competitors around the world, I think the main challenge really is, especially post-Brexit and COVID, is to really kind of meet, what will be a huge kind of increased acceptance of robotics, a huge opportunity for the UK as well to increase productivity and sort out a lot of its labour issues using robots and using autonomous systems more. But the challenge for that is that we're very behind on the requisite skill sets, basically, for that. So I think that the main challenge is to find kind of scalable and really kind of cost-effective, really, solutions to how we can prepare the UK population for the workplace of 2030. And I think the government has this year come out with some, with some good programs with the skills toolkit, the national retraining scheme. There is also the apprenticeship scheme, T-levels. These are all kind of piling up as suggestions the government's offering. But there's just a slight worry over the funding of those, really, and whether they can be, funded sufficiently to actually to make a real impact for, what is a huge and urgent challenge to to improve UK skills. Recommendations, I think then the key to it is really trying to find solutions that are scalable and are cost effective. But one thing that we're really working on is learning factories, really, and that there's been some fabulous examples around the world and around Europe, possibly started by MIT with the Fab Labs, a whole 20 years ago plus now. And we really think that something like robotic learning factories, around the UK, with mobile units as well that could maybe use schools and libraries, as bases, could hugely help. Where really, what we're really trying to do is give people practical, and I know Melissa will talk really interestingly on this, is to give people real tangible and practical experience of robots. I think one thing, talking to a lot of employers around the UK, is that they feel that the people who are coming out of schools and universities, and even the training schemes that are there, really lack actual practical knowledge, really, and hands-on experience of robots and the other technologies fueling the fourth industrial revolution. So we really feel that if we can, in a cost-effective way, that we feel that robot learning factories and mobile robot units carrying robots around the country can have a real impact on that, to just really help people get their actual hands on robots and really then get more of an understanding of the underlying technologies.
The sort of learning factory is a bit of an unfortunate term here, because we're not manufacturing learners in these robot factories.
Replacing children with robots.
Yeah, so it does sound a bit like we're doing that, but that's not what the recommendation is. So explain a bit what a learning factory is, Richard.
Well, it started basically in the States, again, the idea of a learning factory. And the idea really is to have an agile, flexible factory where students, where anyone, adults, people who are retraining or want to retrain, can actually go and meet and work with these technologies. So they're not just studying them in classrooms, but they're actually there. There's some fascinating examples in Germany, linked all the time to local universities, local equivalents of chambers of commerce, and local manufacturing unions, that basically you've got these wonderful spaces, that we hope are starting to come in the UK a bit more with the Robotarium and things, and AMRC in Sheffield, of course, but these wonderful spaces where you can actually go and have real tangible experience on the technology that you will then use in the workplace.
Yeah, so it's a factory in the sense that they're actually making things, and it's real industry, and you're going there and you're being part of it as a learner. So you are experiencing what it would be like to do that job, in a sense.
Absolutely. And then, of course, local manufacturing companies, can then feed into their local robot learning factories, suggesting, well, there's particular technologies we're interested in. And so then learners could, get used to those particular technologies. And, which I think, is something that the Scottish government at the moment is really working towards. And it's something we could learn lessons from throughout the UK.
So let's bring Melissa in, because Melissa, you've been doing training around robots for quite some time now, and I think pioneering in this space. I mean, where do you see it going, and what do you think as being the opportunities? How would you like us to push this forward? Do we need more robots that we can bring to schools, or do we need to do more teacher training? What would crack the puzzle?
Well, my feeling is that it's a mixture of both, really. The teacher training is really important, because if you give schools fantastic robots, unless they really have that training and support in how to use them and how to make it relevant to the curriculum for young people, and how to really use it to help the young people develop the skills that are really needed for those jobs of the future, then it can't really go very far. But then if you flip it the other side, you can train teachers, give them loads and loads of training, and you can get them to start to work on online platforms. But unless young people are getting that hands-on real experience with robots, then they're not getting that full experience. And again, they're not really getting the skills that are needed for those jobs of the future. So my feeling is that you really do need both. And one barrier for schools at the moment is that they can't always get access to robots. So having that shared space is such a great thing. And I think Germany really do lead on that kind of thing. It's not just with the robot spaces that they're generating. They've been doing this a long time with things like you can just go and hire a BMW and pay as you go on the street. The next new prototype of BMW, you don't have to have your own car. You can just go and hop in one and have it for as long as you like. And I think it would be fantastic if the UK could learn from some of those strategies that countries like Germany have put in place.
So do you see a kind of gap between, so there's a lot of good after school club type activities with robotics, and a lot of schools have these sort of robot line followers and simple robots to program. But there's a bit of a gap from there to the sorts of robots that people would encounter if they were working in robotics. And is that what we need to think about bridging?
I think so. And so there's two things there. Not every school has an after school club, and schools that do have after school clubs, in a lot of schools, it tends to be something that parents pay for, which means that only a small amount of children are actually accessing that. Whereas what we really need is for all of our young people in all of our schools to be accessing it during the day as part of their curriculum, so that it's an ongoing thing. And then a lot of schools who have got these line following robots, or have some kind of, they have B-bots, or they have some kind of robots in the school, it tends to be, from my feeling at the moment, is that they get used a few times. There may be some schools that are really, really running a program, and that's what we've really tried to focus on with all of the teachers that we've worked with, giving them long-term curriculum so that they can make a long-term program from it. But there needs to be more of that, rather than schools just having some robots in the school that the children kind of play with, and just use the tech and play with it. That's really great to get them engaged and initially get them interested in robotics. But we want them to be developing coding skills, developing block coding skills, and then going on to develop programming languaging skills. We want them to learn C programming. We want them to learn Python and to really understand how robots work. And teachers need support and be able to teach that kind of education. So I think that there really needs to be that relationship between the universities with that kind of academic knowledge, and then the schools getting the resources that they need that are suitable for the children at that level, but then link into the skills that are needed at university and careers, and then those robots being available as well. So I think there's a lot that we need to work on.
Yeah, I know you've got to go, Melissa, so just two quick questions. First of all, what age should we be targeting? Is it across all the age groups? Should the primary one student kids be doing this?
Yeah.
And also, well, go on, try it. Let me know what's the answer. Should we start at P1?
I think it can be at any age now, because the kinds of equipments that are out there now, there are very basic block coding kind of games that children can interact with pens and very basic robots from a very, very young age, that I've seen toddlers using. And they're actually starting, they don't realise, but they're actually doing a form of conditional judgment as toddlers. Yeah. They don't realise that, but they're getting it to, if the robot's near a wall, to stop, or when it goes on a flower to turn left, that kind of thing. But these are children who can't read or write, they're just using a pen and pictures. So I don't think that there's a particular, if you would have asked me last year, I would have said age 6 or 7. But now with all the new technologies that are coming out, I think that it can be accessed at an even younger age now.
Yeah, and I think there's evidence that, stereotypes, particularly around gender, sort of kick in from age 3, 4. But if you can intervene and get kids that age interested in robots, that can change their perception of what they might do when they're adults. And so it probably is important to start at a young age.
Yeah,
so just
sorry.
Well, I know you have to rush off. I wondered if you wanted to tell us what you're doing this summer, because I know you've got some exciting robotics activities lined up. Do you want to just quickly tell us what they are?
Yeah, so we've got our usual programs running in our holiday programs in our centre at Discovery STEM Education. We've got lots of programs using our World Educational Robotics programme and using MiRo as well. So we get children solving real-world problems using MiRo every day of the 6-week holidays, Monday to Friday. But we are also planning our 4th International World Educational Robotics event on the Saturday, the 24th of July, which we expect to be a hybrid event with the highest attaining UK children who've been studying this programme in their schools over the last few years, the highest attaining children from each UK school, and then the highest attaining children. They will actually be on site, and we're really hoping that it's going to be somewhere based at the Sheffield University. It's usually at the Octagon Centre. And then there'll also be children attending from China, Mexico and Turkey online, doing the same challenges at the same time. And that's all going to be happening in July. That's something that we've been doing for a few years, but this year it's going to be slightly different, and it's going to be a hybrid event. And instead of our international students coming over, they're going to be joining us online. So that should be interesting.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're going to get much of a summer holiday, Melissa, but a busy and active summer ahead. So thanks very much for joining us, and I hope you're not late for picking up your kids at school. So yeah, Richard, we can stay on the chat a bit longer, and Michael and Daniel are here as well. Maybe we could talk a bit about the opportunity that telepresence affords for education, particularly distance education. I mean, what do you think we might be able to do that we couldn't do before, because we now have this opportunity to teleport, if you like, into remote environments?
Well, before Daniel will obviously talk in far more detail about it than me, I would say as well that I think another kind of major plank in how we just familiarize people and try and give people a kind of a better understanding generally of the technologies here is not only with kind of physical interaction with robots, but also using the kind of highest possible end, digital resources that we can really to involve people in robotics. And of course, we've got a whole generation who, although it's often just kind of through a facility with smartphones but gaming as well, how could very easily, if we can actually create, really seriously good resources that are comparable to that of gaming and things, then I think that's another way we can really kind of pull people in. And telepresence is obviously then a really exciting way we can do that, I think, with just really using technology to kind of shock and awe people slightly, to then really want to participate in it and really get the volition, to want to do it. Because of course, we learn if we really want to find out about things. That's how we best learn. And the more that we can use technology to bring people in, the better.
Yeah, I think gamifying education is really important. I was looking at Seymour Papert, who was one of the pioneers of computer-aided education back in the 1970s, really. And he invented sort of Turtle Logo. It's one of the first education robots, the Turtle, with a pen in it that could draw stuff, and you could use this to learn maths. And one of the things he said was, well, nobody ever invented a computer game and advertised it by saying it was really easy. And that's kind of what we do with education. We sort of try and make it really easy for people. And maybe the challenge isn't there for them in a way there is in games. So we can learn from the gaming industry to make challenges at the right level of difficulty that people just get engaged with them and want to do well. And so there's something about the way we're pitching it that isn't working.
It's got to be at the right level of difficulty, but also at the right level of complexity too. So as here, the Turtle robot, compared to the games that you can download and just run off your phone, there's nothing there to excite a student today. So if you're trying to target a student with certain lessons, certain tasks, especially in robotics, they need to be more immersive or as immersive as the games that you'd find today on mobile phones or tablets. And sort of teleport is a way to, first of all, bridge the issue around the availability of hardware. So that is one of the big issues here, in that not everyone has access to these robots, and it's very good to keep that in mind. And telepresence, the fact that you can remotely connect to and experience a robot, experience the physicality of a robot via something like we're doing here today, is quite important in at least starting to bridge that gap. Then secondly, it's not just the fact that you can teleport. I think, Melissa, had and actually you, Tony, put a great point there. There is also a division between what's available right now in terms of education, what you can do within education, and versus what's possible to do in industry. So there's a very big gap that needs to be bridged between the capabilities of robots being used in the classroom, or rather how they're being programmed, or how the teaching around those robots is created, and the actual reality of the industry, where things are more complex. You've got bigger, better robots. And I do believe that sort of the code that we've created, the software we've created, Animus, is a great way to start bridging that divide, being able to control robots on any part of the complexity scale, from very simple robots that you can find in a classroom all the way up to really complicated robots for search and rescue or for social interaction, much like MiRo, and even more complex than that, all with the same common language. I believe that starts to bridge that gap, and Teleport starts to bridge the gap in having access to physical robots.
I'm not disagreeing with any of that, obviously. I wanted to roll back a little bit, though, and just, Richard, I think you touched on it, and Daniel, you have, and I'm asking partly because I know this is something that we all care about, but how do we prevent this fantastic thing that's happening with robotics and with robotics education becoming something that's just happening to a small group of people that can afford to do it? And I'm not talking about necessarily even economically, that go to a school where they can afford to buy robots, but also a kind of intellectual elite, maybe, that where mom and dad are clued into, we got to get in the robotics revolution. We need to take everybody. We don't want to have these left behind spaces anymore where people are somehow not doing this kind of stuff. So how, Richard, do we do that?
Well, you're absolutely right, Michael, and there obviously is this huge problem, isn't there? That after school clubs, as you were saying, it is often the preserve of kind of, you could say middle class kids with driven parents, kind of thing, and that's definitely true. And inclusion is vitally important for the UK as a whole, where we go with this, and just from social reasons that we've got to do everything we can to include more people. And I think straight away, this reflects a project that at Cyberselves and with Seras that we've been working in recently, called the Inspire project, where basically the only way that we can see that you can genuinely reach people who are so-called difficult to reach, to include as many people as we can, is by trying to work with the curriculum. And there's no appetite at the moment for just ripping the curriculum up and starting again. I think government level teachers, that's not somewhere where we want to go. So what we're looking at doing is what we can do to actually try and integrate robotics, AI, IoT, all these amazing technologies that are fueling 4IR and kind of accelerating, is to try and actually get them into the curriculum within the subjects that are there already. That there's no reason. I mean, so Daniel, for instance, has built an absolutely incredible simulator, where we used the Mars Perseverance robot, that we took to schools that can then be used in computer science lessons, physics lessons, to talk about forces and things, maths lessons, and then try and do what we can to kind of help bring an awareness of these technologies to people who otherwise might not meet them in their life.
A short question. There might not be an appetite for ripping up the curriculum and starting again, and I understand why, with everything else going on, pandemic and government not changing stuff. Do we need to?
Well, a lot of people would say yes, that really it's appalling, isn't it? Or it's, let's say, at least extremely surprising that these technologies that are hugely affecting kind of domestic and work life at the moment, all our lives, aren't in the curriculum. So you go through the whole thing without actually studying robotics or AI as subjects, and there are some kind of quite kind of siloed science subjects maybe that don't need to be studied kind of separately anymore. That's obviously a huge issue in itself. But at the least we can do, a bit like we were talking about earlier with what we can do on a kind of macro scale in the UK, is that maybe just accept that the funding isn't going to be there for the kind of massive programs that other countries have gone down, or that are really necessary to kind of drag us up to where we want to be in 8-10 years time. But nevertheless, let's just be realistic and practical about it and actually work with what's there. So we can work with the curriculum by trying to integrate these resources into current lessons, and we can work with the kind of government schemes that are out there by offering these kind of affordable and scalable alternatives.
That's a very good answer.
Yeah, I think there is a big problem in that although there is design and technology as a course, it's kind of, as Richard said, siloed off from the sciences, which are physics, chemistry, biology, and for that matter, maths and computer science. And electronics isn't really taught in our schools, and that's the foundation for all of this. These pieces of tech that we're talking about. So it's not just robotics that there's a challenge. It's Internet of Things, anything around computing hardware and modern technologies really relies on a basic understanding of electronics, which we're not teaching in schools. But I think the positive thing about robotics is that it crosses over all these different topics. So you can, within robotics, learn about electronics and also aspects of maths and even biology. So it has this possibility of being an integrator.
I totally agree there, Tony. In fact, that is what we were doing, as Richard mentioned, in the Inspire project. At the end of it all, really what it boiled down to, AI, IoT, robotics, it boiled down to these sort of 3 steps, sensing, deciding, and then acting. Acting being, of course, in the realm of robotics, but then IoT being in the realm of sensing and AI in the realm of deciding. So it is exactly as you say, robotics is a great way to combine all of these different subjects and touch on a lot of different subjects at the same time.
Well, I think, guys, we should probably wrap this up, but maybe we could just say a little bit about what we're doing later in the summer, because I know there's something quite exciting coming up in a trip to Miami. Does somebody want to fill in what we're doing there and why?
I've forgotten about that.
Yes, we have a very, very exciting trip coming up for the semifinals of the Anna Avatar X Prize. We are team 1 of 38 teams participating in the semifinals from a starting cohort of, what was it, Michael, 78?
90 some, I thought, but then it was cut down to 70 some, I think. We're doing all right.
Yes, we're doing all right. But yes, we're currently preparing our new robot, the Tiago. Shout out to PAL, who have been very cordial in providing us access to this robot, and to the University of Sheffield, which we're working with to develop this driver for the competition.
And we'll be putting out more videos on YouTube, I guess, as we get closer to the semi-final. Although maybe we want to keep some of this top secret from our competitors.
No. We love showing off. Right, goes back to the conversation we had with.
Colin.
Who was it?
Right.
No, earlier in the week, when that thing about roboticists, we like showing off when we get together, like wizards in the Harry Potter world. We can't help but show off when we get together. So we want a chance to show off and show everybody all the great stuff we can do and how we can do it on different robots.
Great, cool. Well, thanks so much, guys, for joining the chat. And we've got another day, or I should say evening, of MiRo Maze tomorrow, when we'll be bringing together some of the top scorers, the people with the fastest times, and giving them a chance to win a fantastic prize, I think, of an Amazon voucher. I think we're also going to have some school kids competing as well, and we're going to have an interview with Kate Devlin, who is the author of a book about, I think, how can I put this, falling in love with robots. And she'll be talking about robot ethics and, I guess, our future with robots. And that will be about 6:15 tomorrow evening. So we'll be starting slightly later at 5 o'clock and running through until 8 o'clock in the evening. And at the end there, we will have our prize giving. And we'll also have live commentary, I think, from Jordan Boyle, I think it is, from, is it Newcastle University Jordan is from? And he's going to be joining the commentary team for what I think was going to be a very exciting MiRo Maze final. So please join us tomorrow at the later time of 5 o'clock.
I'm sure
thank you,
all
and see you then.
that have been enjoying our commentary for the last few days will be devastated to hear that we're bringing in a professional. But rest assured, he knows what he's doing.
Great. Okay. So see you all then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.